Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, and the USO. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames, and we use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So let's get right into the daily chart of the SPY, and we had a little bit of a sell-off today. The SPY was actually down $1.10 on the day, and on 119 million shares after hours action. So we came right into this trend line. I drew a new one in there, so just to get it to where I want it to be. I wanted to connect this low to that low, and then I went through price on here. So taking the fib from this top to this low, we're right to the 618, and we're into the trend line as well. And we actually hit. Did we hit the even number today? High, low, 52-week low. Yeah, 213.19 was the low on the day. So we hit the even number of 214 as well. We had an area right around 214.05. We talked about it in our live chat room. And it's not really a room. We just do Google Hangouts. I bring some people in there or invite them in. We go over some charts, have some fun, and try to make money. So bounced right up. But the thing that caught my eye is that, you know, every time we go down, we go straight back up. We recapture the 20 MA on the intraday basis. So let's see if we can pop up, or maybe they gap it up over these resistance areas and they keep this thing going tomorrow. Let's look at the 60-minute really quick. Yeah, same trend line. We had the 618 down in here. We had a nice bounce. But we have an inside bar bearish pattern on the 60. Let's see if that one develops into the next couple days or so. So let's go to the weekly. Weekly, same thing, inside bar. We retraced up to this blue line. We're coming back in. It's holding the 20 MA. So let me erase this one here. So if you look, we're holding the 20 MA, and that's what it came into as well. We bounced up, but this is a great inside bar bearish pattern setting up for lower prices. And monthly, you know what? We're not even going to look at the monthlies because there's just not enough data in there unless it really starts to flush or really starts to pop up into these highs. Then we'll take a look at that. But right now, technically, SPY's in an okay position, but the patterns are setting up for possible lower prices. IWM. So we came right back into, let's see here. Let's open that up a little bit. So we came back, we came down, popped it up, couldn't close above the inside bar. Now we have a bullish inside bar micro pattern on an inside bar bearish macro pattern. So kind of chopping around. The IWM was only down 61 cents, so it wasn't that big, you know, big of a sell today. But that's the weekly actually. Let's look at the daily. Daily chart pulled back. This is a nice bearish pattern above the MA. So look what happened. So we dipped down, hit the MAs, pop back up. But let's keep an eye on this pattern. Next couple days, if we keep going sideways, I think we could get some selling pressure in these markets. Weekly, like I said, it's slightly bearish, a little more bullish. We're above the MAs. It's holding this trend line. We're into the 618.50 retrace, so it's holding in between there. What we're looking for is a close below the 122. Let's go with 122.19, the 618, and ultimately get below this one. Looks like there'll be a gap to fill in here, right around 121.88, and then if you're bearish, you're looking to get through this trend line, get through the 20 MA, and then we should come back into this and hit these moving averages down there. We're not going to cover the monthly, like I said. Let's get more data on there and see where this thing goes, because we still have 3 weeks to go on the monthly. So let's look at the Qs. The Qs still staying buoyant. This one was the strongest one out of all of them. It was only 18 cents down. I don't have percentages, so I don't know what percentage that is. And it's holding strong. Let's go to the daily. The daily, I mean, we came back in. We shot back up. We did fill, you know, did we fill this gap? Yes, we did fill that gap today. So we filled that gap today, came right back in. So kind of just chopping around above the moving averages, nothing crazy. You know, other than this, just a nice float up, came back, pushed it right up, made a new high up in this area, came back. Now kind of a bearish pattern, nothing crazy, but you have a micro bull up here. You're above the moving averages, so right now technically it's not that bad, but I'd like to see it close below the 118.12. and then possibly get into the 20 or the 50 and start just falling apart here. But right now, it's not bad, still bullish, but I think it's running out of time. If you can't make a breakout within 3 months of this, this is telling me that they're waiting for earnings. If we have good earnings, then I think the markets can go up. If the earnings are just so-so, I think it's going to be time to sell. So maybe that's what they're doing. 3 months of doing nothing, right into earnings, and have earnings determine which way these markets are going to go. Again, we're going to determine the markets up or down on news again. It's just ridiculous. Like Netflix and like what was the other one? Nettie's was up today for whatever reason. Stocks are just going crazy. Priceline was going crazy. Everything's hitting highs. Nvidia. Be careful, guys. When things are popping and making tops and they keep going, there's something big around the corner, at least in my opinion. Weekly, same thing. We got above these highs. It closed. Now I'm waiting for confirmation above the all-time high, which is 119.22. Let's see if we can actually close above the 120 on a weekly basis, and then we'll go from there. So we have a couple more days on this chart, and then it will close, and we'll reevaluate. Monthly, I'm not going to look at that because there's just not enough on there. There's a couple days on this chart. So Qs, let's look at the DIA. DIA, nice consolidation, at least in the weekly. Let's look at the daily. So daily, same thing like the SPY, but we're below the 20 moving average and the 50 moving average. But this one never closed above this inside bar. So that's a little more bearish to me. And it's just chopping around here. Let's stick a trend line in this one too. Let's go through this. Let's do that one there. So that's what we have in there. It's chopping around. I'm not going to put a fib in here because right now we're just in a pattern. Let's see if we can get above these MAs to be bullish. If it stays below and closes below this low, say we get down to 180.79 or this pivot low here, then we're behind. This is the line in the sand here, guys, just like on the SPY. We get below that, we'll test these pivot lows, and ultimately, this is the low you want to crack. Then I think we'll go to gap fill. You have a gap fill here, here, and ultimately down in there about 171. If you are bullish, let's look at this. You got these high pivots there. So you want to get above these high pivots and then recapture the 50 MA and get above that. You have a gap to fill here. You have a gap fill here. You have a gap fill here. Then ultimately double top up in this area where this little topping tail was. I mean, it's not a good topping tail. It is a slight topping tail, but it's holding up. Let me tell you, ever since it made that little tail, boom, came right in. Great bearish pattern, though, guys. This thing's setting up to frickin' make a move down. Let me tell you. Weekly chart, same thing. Inside bar, bearish pattern. 4 weeks now, going sideways above the 20. And again, we'll wait on Friday's close to see if we get close below this 20 MA. If we close below the 20, and we get below this trend line, then I think we're definitely going down to at least 176 or so. We'll see where this thing curls up, or maybe it flattens out, and then ultimately I think we're going down here to the 200 moving average. Let's see. I mean, look at it. Every time it's touched it, boom, boom, comes right back up. It's time to be coming down again. But we'll stick another trend line. Let's see if there's anything back here. I guess you could do this pivot. Let's see what happens. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. So that's your starting point on here. Let's just put it right there. So you're going to have more support in that area too. So if this thing comes back in, you got the support of the double bottoms, you got this, you got the 200 moving average. You got a lot going on there, just in case if it starts to fall. Let's go into the IYT. The IYT, same thing. We've talked about, let's see, let's go to the daily first. So we talked about the, what is it, 145.64 area. You got a big pivot line, and it got above here. I think it got a bunch of longs on here. Now they reversed it and slapped it in their face. So now we got to get back above that line, and then we can confirm again. If this could be the reversal that sends this thing down. We'll see. Volume wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. But I'd like to see, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more on the upside and then a full engulfing candle on the downside with a close below here. But let's look if we're going to do that possibly tomorrow. So we're looking at a close below 144.55, and as long as we stay below this line, I think we can possibly start to head down again. So that is big overhead resistance there, guys. And then the weekly, this is the one that's catching my eye. It was a great bullish pattern here. Starts to lift off, gets into that 145.60 area, 65 area, and just can't get through. This is a weekly, so this will close on Friday. So on Friday, I want to see this thing close above this line, and then the following week, I want to see it close below the or above the high of this candle or whatever it might be. That might be the high this week. So say if we do close right in this area, maybe around 146.18, the following week we need to close above this pivot high or maybe somewhere up in here, 148.60. And then we possibly might move up into the 151 area or so, or this trend line, which is, I think it's 150, yeah, 151. So good bullish pattern. But if this thing that was a fake out today and it comes right back, I think we're going to head lower. And what's happening here is when they don't want to deal with support or resistance, all these moving see how they were separated here and they're getting closer, they're getting closer. See right here where they crossed over where it was close? That was a little bit easier to blast off. So they get it above it. So right now this 200's curling into this price, and then this will possibly bundle up a little bit more. This thing comes back in, they're going to gap this thing down and have this thing just collapse. You watch. Keep an eye on that. Just like they were going up on here, they brought it back. They gapped it. They didn't gap it up here, but that day it was just like, just motored that thing up through everything, but right back to this pivot high. Couldn't hold on. Came back in. Tried again off a great bullish pattern and still can't get it going. And again, this is a lagging indicator. Not good for the markets. All right, last one, guys. USO. Looks like it caught a bid after hours. Do I have after hours prices on here? No, I don't, but I'm pretty sure it did. Let's see what was the last. Yeah, 120 it looks like, maybe. Yeah, 120s or 1120s. So we're going to see what happens to this tomorrow. I mean, we're back up into this area. We did almost hit that pivot. Did we hit the pivot 121? No, high was 1120. So almost hit that pivot high, and that boom, right back down. So I want to see it get to this gap fill right around 1135, 1136, and then maybe this will go higher, maybe. But we did get above, yeah, we did confirm above that trend line, but now we're reversing down. So tomorrow will be a, pretty good day for the markets. Let's see what happens with the, was it vice presidential candidates or whatever is on tonight. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, let's see here. Pull that up. Let's go a little more. So weekly chart, we are above the 50 MA and the 20 MA. It's holding strong. We need to close up in here, and then the following week we need to close above the high of this candle on a weekly close. So we got a couple more days left to this week, so we still don't really know where this is going to be. But at this point, we are above the 618. We are in between the 750 and the 618. So at this point, it could go a little higher. I think the 50 is right in this area here. Right around, yeah, 1134. So if we get in that area and it cuts through it, we could possibly go to the 1155 and then maybe the 1204 double top up in this area. But we're going to watch this close. We have a little bit of a W pattern that could possibly send this one up a little higher. Let me do this. I want to see if we connect the lows. Sorry guys, bear with me. Want to put that in there too. So this is going to be a trend line as well. So when this thing comes back in, if it does get below the MAs, we'll be watching this trend line support. And let's see, do we have any gaps there? No gaps or anything to fill. But we'll have a couple pivot here, pivot there, pivot down in here. Then we could take the bigger Fibonacci retrace to see where this thing comes. Or we could tighten it up a little bit to see where this thing could fall. But right now, technically, it's not bad, but we got a lot of overhead resistance up in here. And then the daily. What was that? The weekly, daily, monthly. Then the monthly again. We're just down here chopping around. Nothing special. This chart's all discombobulated. But we came back in. We shot up, retraced. Let me pull that one out. Retraced back up. We came back in. Now we have an inside bar until it gets above that little pivot here, right around the 1176. We're in a bearish pattern, setting up to go lower. And that's the bottom line. All right, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. I am taking off. We did some live stuff in intraday action, and that just wears me out, let me tell you. I had some long days in the last couple weeks. So I'm going to go home, get some rest. Thanks again for watching my videos. God bless. See you on the charts.